Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is our group presentation for group project assignment FAR570. We are from group 7. Now I will introduce our team members. The first one is Aisyah Fariha binti Abdul Muttalib. The second one is Alia Zulaika binti Zulkifli. The third one is Aufa Syahira binti Sinang. And the last one is Nohani Nikisina binti Muhammad Syamsul Bahri.
Assalamualaikum and hello, I am Alia Zulaika, Executive Accountant of Ranhill Holdings in Berhad. Before that, let me introduce our background of company first. We are mainly focusing in power and environment sector since 1955 and listed in Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. Now we operate primarily in Malaysia and its international market such as China, Thailand and Southeast Asia. In environment sector, we provide water supply services, water and wastewater treatment, plants and specialized services in management optimization of water utility asset. In power sector, we develop, owns and operate power generation asset. Currently, our workforce throughout these countries are 3,902 employees and headquarters located at Kuala Lumpur. I will move on to the management approach of our company. Our company generally comprises of environment and clean energy, which operate in 3 different countries like I said just now, which is Malaysia, China and Thailand. So each division offer different types of product and services in each areas. It is headed by Divisional Managing Director. Here is our company segment, which is based on geographical segment. So the first one is in Johor, Malaysia, which we provide source tap water supply, 44 water treatment plants. While in Sabah, we provide 2 190 megawatt power plant and electrical generating capacity and electricity production. While in China and Thailand, we provide wastewater treatment plants. According to our company annual report, we can see that we provide both types of operating segment and geographical segment that I had mentioned before. Let's move on to our chief decision making. He is Hamdan Muhammad, who is President and Chief Executive in Ranhill Holding Berhad. So basically, he is responsible to allocate the resources and evaluate the performance of our company, making major corporate decisions, managing overall operation and resource of a company. The most important one is he is the main point of communication between board of director and the corporate.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisyah Fariha binti Abdul Muttalib and I am the new account executive for Ranhill Holding Berhad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Next, I will present about the process to identify reportable segment and non-reportable segment. First thing we need to know, what is reportable segment? It is a business segment for which information required by MFRS 8 are to be disclosed separately. There are segments that have been identified to meet the quantitative threshold test set by the standard. So how to identify the reportable segment? Let's see the first one. The quantitative threshold test, which is the 10% threshold test. The calculation of the 10% rule can be based on the total revenue, total profit or loss, or the total asset. If the total is 10% or more, it should be presented separately as reportable segment. If it is less than that, it should be aggregated with other operating segments that do not meet the 10% rule, which is to be disclosed under the other segments. So the next one is the 75% rule test. These tests are only for the revenue basis. So this test, after determining the reportable segment, which is the 10% threshold, the total external revenue attributable to those reportable segments is at least 75% of the total external revenue. If less than that, additional reportable segments should be identified, even if they do not meet the 10% threshold. So here, we got the 10% threshold test by using revenue basis for Ranhill Holding Berhad. we are doing it for the third quarter 2019. So, in order to make the 10% threshold test, the reported revenue, which is sales to external customers plus inter-segment sales, must be 10% or more of the combined revenue of all operating segments. So, as we can see here, that environment, power, investment, and also logistics have met the 10% threshold test, which is they are more than 10%. But, unfortunately, others did not meet the 10% threshold test because it is 0%. Since we are using the revenue basis, therefore, we must use the 75% rule test. The formula for 75% rule test is external segment, which is reportable, that we calculate just now, that 10%, divided by total external revenue times 100. So after we calculate all this, we qualify the 75% rule test, which is 92%. So this is the new segmental report as at 30 September 2019 for Ranhill Holding Berhad. Now, I will present to you some of the advantages and disadvantages of segmental report. First, let's look at the advantages of segmental report. Number 1, transparency and better insights. By using the segmental report, it is better to evaluate the sustainability and growth of a company and monitor the performance of the management. Number 2, lowers cost of capital. The risk for investment in equity of a company that discloses complete information is lower than that of investment in equity of a company that withholds information. Last, better predictor of profitability. It enables users of financial statements to be able to predict the future profitability of an organization, particularly where segments are involved in diverse activities. Next is the disadvantages of segmental reporting. First, it involves cost of disclosures. Segment reporting also involves cost of disclosures. The provision of additional information along with routine information increases the firm's operating costs in terms of cost of collection processing and cost of management control system. The second one is the allocation of joint costs. Joint costs can be general administrative expenses and legal expenses. Allocation of these joint costs becomes a complex problem while doing segment reporting. However, there can be some common costs which can be apportioned on some reasonable basis. The last one is leads to misinterpretation by user groups. In case of inclusion of inter-segment transfers of sales, it leads to misinterpretation by users groups if the segment sales figures are larger than the consolidated sales figures.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurhani Nikisina binti Muhammad Shamsul Baharin, and I am the new account executive for Ranhill Holdings Berhad. So, I will present the basic preparation of interim report for Ranhill Holdings Berhad. So, for the financial statement of the group and of the company have been prepared in accordance with Malaysia Financial Reporting Standard (MFRS), International Financial Reporting Standard (IFRS), and the requirement of the Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia. At the beginning of the current financial year, the group and the company adopted new and amended MFRS and interpretation which are mandatory for annual financial period beginning on or after 1st January 2019. The financial statement of the group and of the company have been prepared on the historical cost conversion unless indicated otherwise in the accounting policies below. The financial statements are presented in Ringgit Malaysia and all the values are rounded to the nearest thousand except when otherwise indicated. So now we move to two accounting policies that we are used in preparing report for Ranhill Holdings Berhad. First one, we use MFRS 102, which is inventories. Inventories comprise water-related inventories, distillated fuels, spares, and consumables. Inventory are stated at the lower of cost determined on the weighted average basis and net realizable value. The cost comprise the purchase price plus the cost incurred in bringing the inventories to their present location and condition. Net realizable value is the estimated selling price in the ordinary course of business less the estimated cost of completion and the estimated cost necessary to make the sales. So for the second one, we use FAR570, which is property, plant and equipment. All items of property, plant and equipment are initially recorded at cost. The cost of an item of PPE is recognized as an asset, and only if it is probable that future economic benefit associated with them will flow to the group and the cost of the item can be measured reliably. Costs include expenditure that is directly attributable to the acquisition of the items. Subsequent costs are included in the assets carrying amount or recognized as a separate asset as appropriated. The carrying amount of the replaced part is still recognized. All other repairs and maintenance are charged to profit or loss during the financial period in which they are incurred. Power station asset comprise construction costs, material including cost of replaceable parts, consultancy, borrowing costs, major maintenance costs, and other directly attributable costs incurred in connection with the construction of the power stations. Type of interim report that Ranhill Holdings Berhad are used consists of statement of comprehensive income, second one is consolidated statement of charge and equity, and the last one is statement of cash flows.
Hi, I am Nur Alfa Shahira and I am the new account executive for the Ranhill Holdings Berhad. Okay, now I will show the period for the current and comparative of each statement prepared by the Ranhill Holdings Berhad. The accounting period of Ranhill Holdings Berhad is ended on 31st December for each year. However, for the current and comparative of each statement of the company, it will be measured in the third interim quarter for the year ended 30 September 2019, which is from 1st July to 30 September. First, for the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, there have 4 bullets, which is for the first one is current interim period. For the current interim, the period is only 3 months, which is from 1st July 2019 to 30 September 2019. Next, the cumulative for the current financial year to date. Cumulative here means the accumulation from the beginning of the accounting period, which is 1st January 2019, to the end of the current interim period 30 September 2019, which is consists of 9 months. For the comparative, we have 2 types, which is for the end of the year of immediately preceding financial year, which is the first one is compare with the current interim, and the other one is compare with the financial year to date. The comparative for the end of the year of immediately preceding financial year, which is current interim, the period is 3 months, which is from 1st July 2018 to 30 September 2018, while the comparative for the end of the year of immediately preceding financial year, which is year to date, is 9 months, which is from 1st January 2018 to 30 September 2018. Next, for the statement of financial position, there have 2 bullets only, which is current and comparative. For the current interim, it will be the same concept as statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, which is only 3 months starting on 1st July 2019 to 30 September 2019. However, for the comparative for the end of the year of immediately preceding financial year, for the statement of financial position, the reporting date is from the beginning of accounting period, which is 1st January 2018 to the end of the accounting period, which is 31st December 2018, consists of 12 months. Okay, lastly, for the both statement of change in equity and statement of cash flow, the cumulative for the current financial year to date is starting from 1st July 2019 until 30 September 2019, consists of 9 months. Meanwhile, for the comparative of immediately preceding financial year, which is year to date, is starting from 1st July 2018 to 30 September 2018. So, the reporting period is also 9 months. Next, I will propose the adjustment made by the Ranhill Holdings Berhad to be included in the interim record. The first adjustment is, on 1 September 2019, Ranhill Holdings Berhad started constructing a manufacturing plant that expected to have a useful life of 10 years with no residual value. The estimated total cost of construction were 25 million and to be completed on 31st August 2021. To finance the project, a long-term loan of 10 million is obtained on 1st July 2019 with interest rate of 80% per annum. The total construction cost for the year is 10 million. Okay, firstly, we will calculate the total borrowing cost incurred. We have to multiply the total construction cost obtained on that year, which is 10 million, with the interest rate of 8% and also multiply with the period of the construction cost obtained, which is 3 per 12 months. Since we are doing for the third quarter ended 30 September 2019, we will calculate the amount until September only. For borrowing cost capitalized, we will multiply the borrowing cost incurred of 200,000 with 1/3. Even though the loan is obtained on 1st July, we cannot calculate the cost to be capitalized started on that date because the construction project has not started yet. We have to calculate the cost to be capitalized when the project is started, which is on 1st September. Lastly, for the calculation of borrowing cost that treated as expense, which is interest expense, we just have to subtract the amount of borrowing cost capitalized that we just calculated earlier from the total borrowing cost incurred. According to FASB Statement of Financial Accounting Standards number 34, borrowing cost of 66,667 will be capitalized as it met all criteria for capitalization, which are probable that future economic benefit will flow to the entity and cost can be measured reliably. Meanwhile, borrowing cost of 133,333 will be written off as interest expense and the finance cost in SOPL since it doesn't meet the criteria of capitalization. So, this is the comparison between before and after adjustment. As we can see, the finance cost and the value of PPE increased according to the cost that I have calculated earlier. Okay, now let's move to the next adjustment. During the current year ending 2019, the account receivable amounted to 290,445,000. As at 30 September 2019, the company estimated that the amount would be 90% collectible by year end. This adjustment has not yet been recorded. So, firstly, we have to find the amount of bad debt expenses for that year. To find that, we have to multiply the current amount of account receivable, which is 290,445,000 with 10% to get the amount of bad debt expense for the year of 2019. And then, we have to calculate the new amount of account receivable for the year 2019 by subtract the amount bad debt expense that we calculated earlier from the amount of the current account receivable, which is 293,445,000. The account receivable should be reported in the interim reports using the same principle as annual report, which is net of allowance of doubtful debts, and the allowance for doubtful debts should be based on the current amount for the reporting period. For the third quarter, which is 30 September 2019, the amount of bad debt of 29,345,500 should be recognized as bad debt expense in SOPL. The amount of bad debt expense should affect the account receivable, which is the account receivable amount will be recorded is 264,100,500. So, for the next slides, let's look forward for the comparison before and after adjustment of account receivable in Statement of Financial Position and bad debt expense in Statement of Profit or Loss. That's all from us. Thank you.